Hello everyone, welcome to the DBAdmin.com. In this video, I'm going to show you how to run PostgreSQL inside a Docker container. This is a great way to manage databases efficiently, especially for the development environment. But the biggest question that arises is why we should use Docker for PostgreSQL instead of installing the PostgreSQL directly over the machine. So one of the very basic reason is you can quickly reset your databases, keep the databases isolated. There's no need of direct installation, and it is perfect for both of the environments, well, development and the production one. There are also certain benefits that are associated with using PostgreSQL over Docker instead of installing it over the machine directly. So let's talk about those benefits. So first of all, easy portability. You can easily port your database instance from one machine to another seamlessly. There's consistency in the environments. You can run multiple databases simultaneously. For example, you can create different databases instances of Postgres and run them simultaneously. You can create databases for quick experimentation. For example, you want to just try some new feature over your new application and you want database for that, so you can quickly create it, connect it, and use it for the quick experimentation purposes. The automated scaling and deployment, because you can run multiple databases simultaneously, so they can be also scaled and according to the need of your application. The data persistence with volume. With Docker you can attach your volumes to your databases so that whenever you stop or remove your container, the data is still there. So whenever you will start it, the data will be still there. And as it is using containers and container images, so the PostgreSQL instance is lightweight and efficient, and you can also seamlessly integrate it with the CI/CD pipeline of yours. So now let's move to how all this is done, how the installation is done over Docker, and how you can use it. So now get started with installing PostgreSQL over Docker. You can use any of the operating system as we are installing the PostgreSQL over Docker. But remember that Docker should be installed over your operating system. In this case, I'm using Linux and especially the distribution Ubuntu, but you can use any distribution or any other operating system. For example, you are familiar with Windows or Mac OS, you can use that as well. If you haven't installed Docker yet, you just have to go to your favorite browser and search for Docker installation. And here you have to go to the official website. So you can either go for install Docker engine, and here you have to select your favorite platform. For example, mine is the Ubuntu one, and here you can see the steps. I personally installed it using the apt repository. So you just have to copy this script and these command, and this is the command for the verification that whether you have successfully installed the Docker or not. And for example, you are not over Linux, so you can just go here and search for Docker installation Windows, and it will give you for the Windows, and you can directly install it from here. Or you can, if you are working over Windows or Mac, you can directly use the Docker desktop, which installs the graphic user interface of Docker and the CLI as well at the same time. So now let's check whether this command is correct and our database instance is created or not. You can start your Postgres database instance using a single Docker command, which I'll explain to you. So as you can see over the screen, this is your Docker run command, which can be used for running the database instance. So let's see how this command works. So as you can see here, the name flag, which is the container name that we are giving to our Postgres instance, this flag E, by using this, you can pass the environment variable which will be essentially the Postgres password that we'll be using. And after this, you have to define the port over which your Postgres will be running. So the thing to notice here that the default port of Postgres is 5432 over which the Postgres will be connected. But we are mapping this port to the localhost 5431. The special reason that I am doing this because, for example, you have already installed PostgreSQL over your system natively, so it will be running over your 5432. So your 5432 port is already blocked. So we will map the localhost port 5431 to the Postgres port 5432, and we'll run it in the detach mode, and we'll use this image of the Postgres. So now we will type this command docker run, and first we have to give the container a name. So that will be Postgres or a better name, my Postgres that we discussed in the example. Then we have to pass the environment variable Postgres password, and I'll be giving it the same password that we discussed in the example. That will be my secret password. Don't give it a simple password if you're using it for a development or a production environment thing. Then we'll map the ports. So 5431 will be mapped to 5432. We have to run this in the detach mode. That means it will be running in the background, and then we will give it the image. So by this, it will pull the official latest image of Postgres. So let's run this command now. So it is saying unable to find Postgres latest locally. So now it has started downloading the latest Postgres image from the Docker Hub. And as you can see, it is going on and it has started. The thing that you are seeing here, it is your container ID and it has started. So I'll do the Docker ps to see whether my container is running or not. So as you can see, it is running, and this is your container ID. The image that we used, the Postgres image, it has been created 14 seconds ago. The port and the name of the container which we have given my Postgres. So now after this, let's see how you can run your Postgres and connect it with your graphic user interface PGAdmin. Connecting to PGAdmin is very simple. You just have to go to your PGAdmin. So I'll go to all apps and here I'll search for PGAdmin. So make sure PGAdmin is installed over your computer. So PGAdmin is started. I'll go to servers. I'll right click over it, register, and I'll register new server. So you can give any name. So for example, my database, I'll give it this name. Then you have to go and get over connection. So here you have to give host name or address. So it will be local host and the port will be 5431. You can leave everything as it is. You have to give the password. So your password will be my secret password that we have used earlier. By this, you will be able to connect to your database. As you can see, now you have connected to your database. In your database, if you will go and go into schemas and then you'll go into tables, here you will find if any of the table is created, they can be located here. So now let's see how you can do all these things using your terminal. You can also use the terminal for interacting with your PostgreSQL. So for this, you have to first enter the Docker container, which you can do by using a very simple Docker command, which is docker exec it. Here IT stands for the interactive terminal, and after this you have to write the name of your container which will be my Postgres, and this will be followed by the command that you want to enter. So we want to interact with the psql command, and you have to provide it a user. So it will be the Postgres user. So now let's see whether this command works or not. So as you can see, I have made a mistake. Let me correct it. psql. Now let's run. Okay, so this is completely working. You are into the psql client and you can interact with the Postgres, and you are into the container by using the Postgres user. For example, if you'll have to list all the tables that are present there, so you can do this. Did not found any relation because there are no tables in it yet. So now let's see one of the biggest advantage of using PostgreSQL over Docker, which is you can start, stop, or restart your Docker instance very seamlessly. So let's see. First check whether our database instance is running or not. So as you can see, if you'll do docker ps, you will find that your database instance is correctly running. So if you want to stop your database instance, you just have to type docker stop followed by the container name, which is my Postgres. And if you'll do docker ps again, you'll find that your database instance has stopped. But if you'll do docker ps -a, you'll find that the instance still exists, but it is in the terminated state. So if you want to again start this instance, you just have to type docker start followed by the container name. And now if you'll do docker ps, you'll find that it has again started. So now if you want to restart your Docker container, you just have to type docker restart followed by your container name, and it will get restarted. And you can also remove this Docker instance if you don't need it anymore. So you first have to stop the instance. So you will type docker stop my Postgres and then docker rm my Postgres. And if we'll do docker ps -a, you'll find that the instance does not exist anymore. So that's all for today's video. I'll find you in the next one.